tini whitu ki te rangi, ka manae kalani ki te whenua. Ti hei mauriwa. Mi ki tātua, mi ki te mati, mi ki tora. Tēnā koutou katoa.
Kia ora.
Ko maungarei te maunga, ko wāota ki te awa, ka ukotoa i te papa. Me rā mātou te koro a pōnenga te mihi nei. Nau mai, piki mai, kāki mai. Aha koa kono o whaiti, ko ako whārima ki. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Kia ora.
Whakalofuna atu. Hi, my name is Juliana and I come from the beautiful island of Niue. I have a wonderful family of 7. I have 3 older brothers, my mum and dad, including my precious little dog, Bella. I'm the only girl in my family, and I am blessed to have a twin brother. His name is Christopher. I'm the type of girl that likes to make new friends, meet new people, help lead others, and try my best. When I grow up, I want to be an inventor so I can create things that will help people. I would also like to be a vet when I grow up because I just love animals.
Malolele. My name is William, and I come from the friendly island of Tonga. I come from a family of 6. I have 2 older sisters, my mum and dad, and also my grandpa. One of my sisters even used to be a Pony ambassador. Some of my hobbies include rugby league, rugby union, and also dodgeball. When I grow up, I want to be a sports coach because PE is my favorite subject in school.
Malalele. My name is Mina and I'm a year 6 learner at Point England School. I was born in Hawaii and I come from the fabulous islands of Tonga. I come from a lovely family of 6. Something about me is that I really want to be a leader of the school, and it was kind of loves to meet other people. I haven't totally worked out what I want to be when I grow up, but it would be good to be a pilot or a plane teller. Malo apito.
Malo elele. My name is Anjalika and I have an amazing family of 10, which includes myself, my 2 sisters, my only brother, my nana, my papa, my uncle, and my mum. And our pet cat Ruby and her 2 fur babies, Max and Furry. Something about me is that I love to help out my friends, especially with their schoolwork. When I grow up, I want to be either a judge, a detective, or a prosecution lawyer.
Kia ora, ko Jolly Zahu, ko Elizabeth tuki mama, ko Sikona tuki papa, ko Eli tuki tēnā. No Tonga, me Fiji, me Aotearoa hau. No reira, tēnā koutou katoa. I am a confident, honest person that always tries my hardest. I like to meet new people and I always try to be positive. When I am older, I want to be a rugby player for the All Blacks. I have been playing rugby since I was 5 years old for varsity and I am passionate about playing the game.
Kia ora, my name is Atukai and I am 10 years old. I am the second youngest in my precious family of 9. We also have a dog named Tutu. Some of my hobbies are going for adventurous walks, maths, and cricket. When I grow up, I would love to be a veterinarian because I love animals. I also want to be a police officer because I want to help all people, both bad and good, to keep our community safe. Talisoba, my name is Enya, but you can call me A. My culture is Rakhine from Myanmar. I have a family of 6, which consists of my mum and dad, my younger twin sisters, and my precious baby brother who is turning 3. I am the eldest child in my family. My favorite foods are pizza and ice cream. Yum! My favorite subject at school is writing, and I love swimming and going outside to fun places. When I grow up, I would like to be an artist because I have a passion for art.
Now that you're in middle school, we would like to take a few minutes to tell you about our place, our people, and our learning.
We would like to tell you that we live in a beautiful part of the city. Our school backs onto a huge reserve with farm cattle, bush on one side, sports fields and playgrounds on another side. And from our playground, we look down to our own Point England beach.
As you can imagine, we make the most of these outdoor spaces. In the summer, we camp out on the fields and tents, and we love walking down to the beach for school picnics. The grounds outside the school fence are well used by sports teams too.
This wonderful outdoor environment gives us the opportunity to experience all kinds of learning. This year, we are exploring what it means to be kaitiaki of our place. We are taking responsibility for our beautiful environment, including the sea and creeks, and we hope to eliminate all the rubbish from our area.
1950, Point England School began in 1953, and the foundation of students were mostly Māori and Pākehā. The government of the time built the houses in our area for soldiers to live in when they came back from World War II. Over time, many of the original inhabitants moved on, and the next people to live in the houses came from the Pacific Islands to find work. In 2020, most of the children at Point England School came from Māori and Pacifica families.
Our whānau play an important part in the life of our school and help out in all kinds of ways. They coach sports teams and culture groups, tutor us in performing arts and reading, and are wonderful supporters of big events like camps, trips, and whiwhia.
And they have invested a lot of money in our learning by buying us our digital devices. From years 1 to 3, they have invested in our young children's iPads instead of buying stationery. And from years 4 to 8, they are paying for our Chromebooks. Our teachers work hard to make sure we have opportunities to learn in interesting ways. Many of them run extra activities for us before school, after school, and in the weekends and holidays.
We have several specialist teachers who run programs for us, like reading support, Te Ao Māori, sports, the makerspace, and the creator space. We know you wouldn't have the chance to meet our teachers, so we have an introduction for you.
Point England School is a full primary school with around 600 children from years 1 to 8. We enjoy learning together, and every term our school comes together. Our school shares the same inquiry.
This term, our inquiry is the Point England Way, which is a social studies-based inquiry. We are learning what makes a great team member and how we can become a better Point Englander.
Each year, our whole school focuses on the same value, and this year it is Kia mau tonu te tū manako, which means never lose hope. We are learning how to create dreams, set goals to reach these, and never give up.
We mentioned earlier that at Point England School, we all have our own digital device as our basic learning tool. Our year 1 to 3 children each have an iPad and a stylus. And from our year 4, our parents have brought us our own Chromebooks.
They don't need to buy us exercise books anymore, as our books are in the cloud.
We all have a Google account of our own to write in, and our juniors use Explain Everything to access a lot of their learning.
Sometimes we all need to use pencil and paper for things, and our school provides each learner with an exercise book and a pencil for these occasions.
Our teachers can easily see everything we have been doing. We have been working through the teacher dashboard, and they each create a Google site so that we can access our learning at any time and wherever we are. This makes it much easier for us to have more learning opportunities, because if we are away or doing something else like talking here with you, we know where to go to catch up.
It also helps our parents and partners to share in our learning, because they can see what we are learning on class sites, on our blogs, and do parent portal or teacher dashboard.
Of course, we still learn of our teachers, and this mostly happens in small groups. We get to spend a lot of time with our teachers face to face.
Learning in this way means we have to work hard at developing our key competencies. For example, being able to manage ourselves is important, from simple things like making sure our device is fully charged every morning through to making sure we're in the
right place at the right time doing the right thing.
Relating to others is another key competency that we often use in our Cyber Smart program. We are all super connected online now, and we have to learn to do this responsibly. We have lots of opportunities to learn through being creative here, and we all really enjoy this. We love doing art and creating dances and music. When we have learned something, we often create things to show what we have been learning.
We often use our digital devices to support our creativity. Making movies and creating digital learning objects is just part of a day at school for us. We began our digital creativity when we were 5 years old using KidPix. Now we have lots of creative apps on our digital devices, and we also use our classroom computers for our big projects like filmmaking, 3D printing, creating music, and Hyper Studio.
Mrs. Langi Tupu in the Creator Space and Mr. Bob in the Maker Space provide extra opportunities for us every week when we have our sessions with them. We hope you won't have the opportunity to check some of this out in the future.
Every Friday, the whole school comes together for assembly and celebrates the learning that's been going on during the week. At assembly, the value for the week is introduced, and then it is played on piano for the next 4 days. Here is a recent example.
Hunter was by happily smiling to himself. He rides as he goes past the playground. He sees a little girl. She has crazy hair. Hunter gladly smiled. Hey, I like your hair because it's different. The girl replies with a big grin. Thanks. Hunter rides past the girl and meets a boy. Hey, I like your work because it's unique. The boy smiles. Thank you, my friend, and shoots him a thumbs up. That's it, Ponyland. This message shares a wonderful point where all differences don't matter. It is as long as you're happy, nothing can get in your way. We are all different in so many ways, and that's what is special about us. Make sure to love yourself, then love others.
These corridors are led by a prefect and a principal, Mr. Burt. Everyone enjoys this. Lots of our whānau come to assembly to support us.
During the week, we share our learning of the whole school on PNN, our school television show. The Pointinga News Network goes to air from Monday to Thursday, and we have been doing it since 1996. Some of our parents were on it back in the day.
We are
big celebrations of our learning. Here were things like school productions and theatre. From time to time, we get to share our side of the school in things like the Rock Quest and the Naikalani Film Festival at Sylvia Park. We even share our movies with an audience of thousands at the Movies in the Park event each summer.
But the way everyone gets to share their learning every day, is online. We all have blogs of our own at Port England School, and sharing our learning with our family is super easy when you have a blog. It is not just our whānau who can see this either. People all over the world read our blog posts, and you can see on the screen how many people have been reading our blogs. Even our teachers have blogs where they share what they have been learning. We love it when people leave us comments and feedback on our blogs.
We would like to show you some recent examples of what learn, create, and share looks like for us. And first up is Willie.
We were learning all about the rocky shore and what creatures live there as part of our integrated topic called There's Something in the Water. We went for a visit to our Point England beach to document as many different creatures as we could. I decided to create an animation to show and teach others how sea life can be found down at Point England beach. Here is a small clip to watch, but please, visit my blog for more.
Crab has lots of listeners across the island. A crab lives in the rocky shore as well, because it has lots of eyesight over there, and it can find any fruits over there. A seagull is a type of bird that finds crabs and it can hunt down all of them like anything else. It can also make them fly up in the air and eat them.
We found out that New Zealand and parts of the Pacific Islands have some of the highest rates of skin cancer in the world. This is because of damage to the ozone layer above us. A problem we looked at was how to protect ourselves in the sun. One way is to be able to use our own UV light sensor, like this one here, that can read the levels of UV light. It was a bit tricky to create, but it's pretty cool, don't you think?
Hi, my name is Fina and this is my UV light sensor. When as a scientist, you get to talk to us about the damage to ozone and how it can cause skin cancer. We had the chance to create a UV light sensor. There were lots of different parts and it was quite hard to put together. But once I had finished, I was excited to try it out. The UV sensor uses solar power to make it work. It has a chart at the back to explain what the different levels mean. If the UV index is above 11, then this means these are very high levels of UV and you need to stay energy. I read about my UV experience and posted it on my blog along with my animation.
We love using Scratch a lot at our school because we find it's a good way to teach coding. And it's heaps of fun. Scratch is an international digital coding tool and is useful to create or share what you're trying to say in many different ways. It also gives me an opportunity to create patterns, problem solve and design new ideas. I created my own game called Pick a Path. You have to try to get to the end without touching the walls or choosing the wrong path. It is very challenging. Here's a quick look, but feel free to see more on my blog.
Hello, this is my Scratch game called Pick a Path. So today I'll be showing you how I coded it. And over here is where I coded my rocker, how to move, up arrow, down arrow, and all the other stuff, and if it touches back, it says no and go back. And it goes back to where I want it to go. I put the code in here. And for this button, start button, I coded it, if it gets pressed, then it takes me to the next level. So over here, whoop, that plays music. I coded it. And if you touch the wrong button, which is the yellow button, I coded it over here, and it says game over. And then if you touch the right button though, it takes you to the next level. I coded all of this in here, so over here this the wrong button, and this is the right button where it takes you to the next level.
We have been learning about eels. Did you know that we have our very own eel tank at school? They are amazing and interesting creatures that live in our local waterways. I created an animation to show how the Maramataka Māori lunar calendar impacts on the best times to go eeling. If you ever decide to go eeling, try not to go when there's a full moon. Did you know that eels travel all the way to Tonga to breed? You can find out more interesting facts on my blog.
Hi, my name is Angelica and I really enjoy learning about eels. Did you know that we have our very own eel tank at school? Mr. Burt from the Makerspace invited Dave Cooper, who is an eel expert, to talk to us and answer questions that we had about eels. It was very interesting to learn how some can live up to 80 years old or even older. Did you know that eels can survive out of water for up to 48 hours? My favorite fact was that they swim to Tonga to breed, because my family comes from Tonga. We were lucky to have another expert called Mahu from Wati Power. He explained how Maramataka, the Māori lunar calendar, can help us to find out when the best times are to go eeling. We also found out that eels were a good source of food for Māori in the olden days. Did you know that when there's a full moon, it is not good to go eeling because the eels are not active at that time?
Every year we get the opportunity to create our own movies with the Manaia Kalani Film Festival at Sylvia Park. This is an amazing event where we book out free cinemas for the day to show over 100 movies starring Manaia Kalani kids. My class decided to make a movie about a big bad wolf. We went and searched for a little pig to eat at Ponigan School, but find something much better to eat. Here's a small clip from our amazing movie, and listen out for my professional voiceover.
Once upon a time there was a big bad wolf. He woke up one morning and was hungry for little pigs.
I'm hungry. I want to eat little pigs. I know where I can find little pigs. There's our farm down the road.
So off he went to find little pigs.
What? This isn't a farm. I can't see any sheep, but it's all little pigs. I will go in and have a look.
He knocked on the door and yelled,
Little pigs, let me come in.
Did you hear that? I heard someone say that was a little pig. A little pig.
the big bad wolf was shocked.
What?
As part of the Manaia Kalani Film Festival, 2 kids are chosen from each class to present their movie to audiences of hundreds. I was chosen along with my friend Petero to present our movie that Atawhai has already shown you. This was a lot of fun as we were able to help create our script with our teacher, Mrs. Hill. We practiced it for weeks to get our performance just right. We then shared this to our blogs for the world to see. Check it out.
No, stop it! I'm going to bake tonight.
Hey, what are you looking at me for? I'm pretty hungry. Hey, I'm not allowed to put my hands up. Anyways, check out Room 9 for my Kalani Film Festival movie.
At Pointing on School, we enjoy learning how to become a cyber smart expert. To help others to become cyber smart citizens, me and my friends decided to make a series of how-to movies. This took a lot of work. We had to decide on the area of our cyber smart curriculum that we wanted to focus on. We then created our scripts and storyboards, filmed and edited our movies, ready to share to the world on our blogs. Check it out.
Hi, Political students. Today, we will be telling you the importance of your password. Your password must be at least 8 characters long. Why is that, you may be wondering? Well, because your password should be long. The longer the better, therefore it will be trickier to guess. Your password should have symbols, signs, and numbers, but that's optional. It can be your favorite poem, song, or quote. And that's all for today. And remember, be cool and stay cyber smart. Bye!
We hope you have enjoyed this snapshot of Polygon School and how we learn, create and share. You are most welcome to visit us in our classes and follow us online to see this in action. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Can you join Mr. Sumner or so? Let's just give them another round of applause. I'm going to have to go very quickly, like less than 30 seconds a slide. So here we go. I think God's got a sense of humour because I didn't like school and I've been there since I was 5. And I never had a problem deciding that it needed to be different because I actually didn't like it. And it didn't like me, and it was very ready for me to leave, and I was very ready to leave it. So this journey that I want to tell you about, what's the backstory behind what you saw, and where's it coming from? What was that jump? It was really interesting to hear this morning somebody talking about access using video, and obviously that's part of what we do. But our quest has been, how do you get equity and access for capital building citizenship for people in the largest Decile 1 community and oldest Decile 1 community in the country? And that's where this work, Manaia Kalani, comes from. It's lovely to have Tabitha here with us today. You need to wave everybody because she's one of the original Manaia Kalani hackers who first met in 2009 because I put an email out saying hackers wanted. And we began to design and build some of these solutions that led to what you saw our tamariki, our tawira, showing you. And so this beautiful lady with the blue hair over there turned up in 2009, helped me find other people and begin to build solutions, and I'm really grateful. I think, and we think, in our work in our kaupapa, that blending ancient wisdom and new technologies is vital. If you toss your kaupapa, you're stuffed. You've got to keep all of that. You've got to keep the aspects of tikanga, anga, wha, whatever, and you've got to blend it if we really want to hook our learners and connect them as who they are from where they've come from to where they need to be. Maui Tiki Tiki a Taranga, who you saw in our logo, went to his many times great-grandmother, Mahuika, and received ancient wisdom about a star line in the sky called Manaia Kalani. And he followed it, and he came to this land of new promise and new opportunity. He was a marginalised person supporting marginalised people, the youngest boy in the family, left-handed and pricked on. And he came to a land of bright promise using technology called a wakahurua that the last America's Cup was actually modelled on because Pākehā didn't have multi-hulls. My quest in all of this has been, if we are the children of the navigators, as demonstrated by that wakahurua that was at Point England, that's Hiki ana Lea, landing at our beach in 2015 in front of thousands of children singing. If we're the children of the navigators, then where's the failure come from? Because our kids are not failures, you can see that, right? They're not, they're magnificent, so why does failure happen and what's causing it? What do we do? And how do we rebuild school to make it better? Our first school was built in 1815, I don't know if you know that, and it was a Māori school. And the kids who went there were enormously successful and travelled across Aotearoa. But our first school was built in, our first public free school was 1877, and it really ticks me off when we buy cheap, relatively cheap packages from the UK and the USA, simply because they pay for education research that we don't pay for. We buy their packages, we install them in our schools, and wonder why they're stuffed and they don't work. We've been going for longer and stronger and better than they, but we need to invest in good R&D for education at your level, for our level, and all of us together, so that we actually achieve what we need to achieve. This is Granddad and Grandma. Grandma doesn't show there. That's Granddad in the uniform that he got married in and first went to school in, because that's the clothes those are the clothes that he owned. And him and my granny were a two-teacher school at Wardville, teaching Māori kids, and the farmers working around them, opening up the land before the Depression. Interestingly, they can both say, because I was brought up by them quite a lot, all of those children learned to read and succeeded. All of those children learned to read and succeeded. So if that was true back then, and colonisation was already occurring, what caused it to tank? Why did it go so hopelessly wrong when two Pākehā people could work with the Māori people around them and all the kids learned? What went wrong? During that time, equity and access and opportunity for people like my grandparents were provided by roads, bridges and railways. They were the infrastructures of the time that connected people to enable my granddad to do this, with his neighbours and the Māori people around him, to clear the harakeke and reipo and turn it into something. They could only do it together, but it wouldn't have happened unless Wardville Road came off highway, what is now Highway 27, to open it up so a tanker could go down so he could sell a product. And he taught in a school. Don't know how he did that. But the environment then got enriched, so that during the time of my uncle, we had New Zealand Farm of the Year there, that farm, and it was displayed on a double spread of the New Zealand Weekly News in the 1960s. So what happened? Because we tanked. Te reo Māori began to be discouraged only in the 1920s. I don't think you knew that. And the very first New Zealand publication that was about Māori education, because there were very few Pasifika people here at that time, was in 1960. And if you fast forward to 2013, that's a result of KEP, because it was so stark. Like, we've had a 2015 piece since then, but which I have results for too. But just that result at the bottom makes you want to vomit. You know, that's just disgraceful. So how did we get like that? What happened? And why is it, and what can we do about it? I taught with my wife in a two-teacher school, following my grandparents' example, but this was in Papua New Guinea, and discovered a cohort of people where success was defined by the ability to leave. We came home to Glenamis and discovered this urban subsistence where success was defined by the ability to leave, and thought, what has happened? Because when we left, it wasn't like that. And that wasn't that long. And this is my class that year. And everybody's on the wrong side of the chart. During that year at Tamaki College, not one kid passed school cert. There were kids who said that they passed, but they were getting single subject passes. They weren't getting 4 or 5. Tawa Tupou got 5 subjects in 1997, and we had a party because we were so excited, because something was starting to go right. You better tell me when to shut up, brother, because I know I haven't got much time. What happened was, in that interim, because when I started out work as a baby teacher at the age of 20 at Rural Pōtaka School, just up the road from where I am now, everybody had jobs. Those are the jobs they had, and they all earned more than me because I was a primary school teacher. So I was the poor guy on the block, and the people had the dignity of work, and they had quite good money. And what happened in the interim is that all of those jobs went away. So during the time of Roger Nomics and Ruth Richardson's Mother of All Budgets, those places all went. You know what that place is, eh? That's Sylvia Park Shops, and you know what that is? That's Stonefields. And so what had happened was, and you lived there. But what has now happened, I'm fast forwarding a heck of a lot, is that there are now billions of dollars back around us, but the education requirement and what we need to do is different for our kids not to be the next group of people who lose their jobs when it all goes belly up again, because the McKinsey report says that in 10 years' time, 45% of the jobs will be different. And we can't. I'm hoping that what you heard was people who will get those jobs. I'm hoping. And working for. So we are this here, that's us, and these are the tech sector jobs around us that are across all the sectors. And clearly what we're hoping is that we will provision children not only to be veterinarians and cops and Crown prosecutors like you heard about, but also they'll be able to do things where they control the code rather than carry the boxes and be the storemen and packers and go out and work. And so we began to engage with our whānau to say what do we do and how do we do it. And there was these dragons to slay as we needed to enrich an environment as we built a new platform for learning. Boy, I'm nearly there. Yeah. And so that is what happened. And it was a long journey, and Tabitha and others helped us to get there. We had to create the platform to make it safe and sustainable because it didn't exist. And we had to get public-good partnership funding to enable it, and then to try and get connections into people's homes. Please don't think that digital equity has happened in Aotearoa. It hasn't. We now work around the country because of this, and what I can tell you hand on heart is that there's a new lot of haves and have-nots, and it's how you can connect to the world and the world can connect to you so that you can do all the cool stuff that you need to do to have true tino rangatētanga and mana motuhaki. What happened is, this is a really short version of a long story, is it worked. We learned that in reading we could do 1.5 years progress, we could do it in maths, and we could double in writing what was happening around the country. What we can't do, there's a caveat here, we are not able currently to consistently do all three at once. At the moment, we're getting that one nearly all the time, and these ones some of the times, and I'm fortunate to see results from 100 schools around the country, which is thousands of classrooms and teachers, and we can pick the individuals who can actually do that, and it's a very small number of people. So on an optimised digital platform, this is possible, but to get it to happen in 3 subjects simultaneously is our current holy grail that we have not achieved for you. Like that, I'd want a room full of you if your teachers to all be able to do it. At present, the special people can do it, but everyone can do that, like every teacher can do that now. So that's really cool because New Zealand's sucky subject was writing. And so it did work, and it's still hard work to make it work. And we now work in all of those places, so it's given us an incredible opportunity to be a network of networks and learn from other schools, other kids, other whānau in those places, and lots and lots and lots and lots of teachers. And find the people who can get that acceleration in their classrooms and then go, how'd you do that, can you share it? And of course, because we're a network of networks, and sort of all the sorts of stuff that this conference is about, we are able to share the stuff that works much more quickly. So we're not interested at all in the pathology of failure. We're only interested in the anthropology of success. And if I could tell, I'm not political at all, but our previous government got very interested in the data that sits behind the pathology of failure. We don't need to know how children turn into people who go to jail. That is the most stuffed up view of the world. It's totally upside down. What we need to know is how people in adverse circumstances just rose to the top. That's what we need to know. How did they do that, and how did their teachers and their social services around them help them to achieve it? Not what's the way to jail because you've got a single mum and you've got your dad's inside and you smoke. Who cares? Like, did that help us? Not really. Because we work with lots of people, we've been able to differentiate what happens in the summer holidays for kids who blog in the holidays 3 times a week plus, and kids who don't. And we've also been able to differentiate people who are in our programs and enter secondary school versus the children that come from other places and go to the same secondary school, and you can breathe a lot of air through the space in between, so that we know that we've got stuff that's working in all 3 subjects. But like I said, it's really hard to get it all to happen at once. This was not all Crown funded, it's a public partnership. We do work with the Crown, and since Tabitha started helping us, we've raised $30 million to help distribute this kind of work around the country where people want us and we are asked, and that's what we're trying to do. And I'm finished. That's supposed to have a T in front of it. Just, I am a teacher. Imagine that. I fixed it up just at the end, and it's also supposed to have a space. That's